Hey, welcome again to the Beer Temple. I am Chris Quinn, and we got a pretty special beer here today. I'm actually going to get right into it and crack it open because it is still a little cold. I had it sitting in the fridge, and I want to kind of pour it out and let it warm up a little bit as I talk about it. But so I've been doing a lot of style-based podcasts lately, talking about Keller beer and Berliner Weiss, and we had a whole bunch of stuff on different styles of summer, or beers that are good for the summer. So I kind of threw out there on Facebook today asking if you guys wanted to see another episode about styles, or if you wanted to kind of change it up and have me pull something from my personal cellar. Got a couple replies via Facebook and also Twitter that you guys wanted to see something from the cellar, so that's what I did. And I grabbed one that is pretty rare. Probably not many of you have had this one out there, if any. This is a Dogfish Head beer that was, I believe, made only available at their brew pub down in Rehoboth, Delaware. And it's got kind of an interesting story. You guys know that I'm into beers that have stories behind them, and this is a cool one. This is a beer that Dogfish Head brewed for the very popular beer website called Beer Advocate. They hold several beer fests throughout the year, and one of them is called the Extreme Beer Fest, and that's right up Dogfish Head's alley. That's kind of what they specialize in. You know, their motto is off-centered ales for off-centered people. So what they did was, for the Extreme Beer Fest, they collaborated with the guys from Beer Advocate, the Alstrom brothers, I think I'm saying that right, and they came up with a really cool recipe. The recipe was basically a brown ale that is smoked with, or that uses, smoked malt. So there are things called Rauch beers or smoke beers where they do smoke the barley before they actually use it in the beer, and it gives it a distinct smoky flavor. If you've never had a smoke beer, definitely go out and try to find one. I'm sure eventually I'll get into smoke beers because they are pretty cool. But what they did with this is they used pecan wood to smoke it with. So Dogfish Head smoked all the malt themselves, which is highly unusual. And they also added carob, which is kind of a like a chocolatey, I think vegetable-based spice, as well as plantains. So they kind of did all that stuff, threw it together, and then the really cool thing is they went to Beer Advocate and they went online to their forum, which is just a massive online community of beer lovers, and they threw it out there, told them about the beer, and asked for naming suggestions, and said that whichever one they decided they liked the best, they being the Alstrom brothers and Dogfish Head, that's what would get the naming rights to the beer, and that they would have it at the Extreme Beer Fest, and they'd have a limited bottling run. So I threw a couple names out there. I didn't win, but the winner was called Wrath of Pecant, and here is the bottle here, called Wrath of Pecant. It's got that definite Star Trek look to it, but you'll notice right there on the end it's actually called Wrath of Pecant. So that was an issue with the naming rights or the labeling laws. I think the guys, according to Sam Caligione, didn't like the idea of having the word pecan on the beer label or on the beer when there weren't actual pecans in it, just pecan smoked wood. So they called it, since they couldn't do pecan, they made it Pecant. So they changed the name. They added not only a letter, but actually they went from one pronunciation of pecan to pecan, and that's kind of the story behind the beer. Really cool. If this was about like last February, I think. So I'm kind of moving around because I'm trying to get my dog to stop licking his paws with my foot. But I digress. This is from February 2010, so I've had this beer in my cellar for quite a while. Let's see how it tastes. Let's see if it's been aging well. I actually got some feedback from the guys at Beer Advocate that they're interested in how this beer is holding up. So let's see. I've been letting it sit around open for just a little bit, so it is a little bit warmer now. lovely clear color. Reminds me a lot of those brown ales that we were looking at the other day. Very copper, amber kind of colors to it. Really nice. A little bit of a head, not too much, but just pretty looking beer. Let's see if we can pick out any of those unusual ingredients. Definitely getting that smoky character to it, but it's very, very light. A lot of times when you get smoke beers, they are just completely overpowering, and oftentimes they've almost become meaty or hammy, believe it or not. Smells like kind of a smoked meat, but not here. This has a nice, sweet smokiness to it. In fact, it's one of the nicer aromas I've gotten from a smoke beer. I think I'm also maybe getting some of that carob as well, or something. There's something spicy there as well. That could just be some other spices that they've added. I don't know. It could be the carob. I can't say I've ever had a carob beer before. Nice smelling beer. Well, one thing's for sure, the beer's holding up pretty darn well. Wow. Delicious beer. Wow. Did I pick the right one to pull from my cellar? You really get that smoke character even more on the tongue than you did on the nose. You're getting a really nice caramely, kind of like a caramelized banana flavor to it, really. I mean, I'm guessing that's the plantain. Maybe that's just me knowing it's in there and kind of associating that to it. But you're definitely getting kind of a caramelized flavor to it, and some really nice spice as well. Not any bitterness. Delicious beer. I could see this going with certainly a wide variety of more hearty main courses, certainly desserts as well, where you would have maybe an Islay Scotch or something like that for dessert. I have been known to do that. I don't know how many other people have Scotch for dessert, but this would be a nice substitute for that, or any sort of kind of rich chocolatey dessert would be wonderful. It's not too high in alcohol. It's just a little bit over 6%, so it's not going to knock you over, and it's highly drinkable. Yeah, I mean, judging from kind of some of the ingredients, I wasn't sure how drinkable it would be, but it's great. I'm going to give this beer a 92. Really, really solid beer. 92 plus. Just really, really good. Yeah, so you guys asked for something from my cellar, and this is what I produced. I appreciate it. I guess I was kind of going with the whole theme of this beer, and I got kind of some audience participation on what to do. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it, and I hope you liked this. I'm actually going to go and share this with some beer advocates now. It is the Chicago Monthly Gathering of the beer advocates, so I'm just going to kind of stop this back up and share it with them all. You know, kind of part of the community, and you know that we have our own little section of the community out there as well on our site and Facebook and Twitter. You guys have been really, really great. We're up to 50 reviews now, and I cannot thank you enough for all of that. And thanks for the ideas. That's really about it. If you have any questions or any kind of discussion, please leave a comment on the website. That's kind of what I've been asking people to do, is kind of gear their comments towards either there or Facebook, and you guys have been doing that, so thanks so much. And until next time, thanks guys. Go have a beer.